I think we are live. Welcome back to another session of live cold calling. In this case, live cold calling role practice. We've got our special guest, the professor. Are you on this
Good
side?
morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good morning.
Am I pointing to you correctly?
Yeah, I'm on the. You got me going on the right side. You're doing the nice chicken dance.
It's like I go this way. Woo! All right. So,
Introducing Ryan Reisert.
so that lab coat is pretty intense.
It's
I
pretty
hope
sweet,
you're
huh?
ready to. I hope you're ready to do some experiments today. We're back for another live cold call role practice. Last time was exciting. If you missed it, you're going to want to go back and rewatch the introduction because we're not going to go back into that. We're going to get right into action today. For those of you who might be new to this, the idea here is we have a exercise that we've ran over the last several years to help really bring together the concept of role play and live cold calling. And the intention of doing this is actually to do it in live cold calling sessions. But for the purposes of these live shows, we're actually just going to do the role practice session. And so Shawn uh, and I will be bringing on guests, and hopefully we have our first guest lined up here. Do we have them? Uh, to go over their script and actually run a live session where we're doing rapid practice. And the idea here is that we're getting you warmed up, no different than maybe a choir singer, Shawn. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. I
Maybe
mean, anything. A
a
choir singer,
sprinter, a
a bucket of
sprinter.
ball, a bucket of balls at the golf range.
Yeah, batting
A couple.
practice.
Yeah, a couple batting practice. Warm up. Throw some balls back and forth before you get in the game. Yeah, get loosened up, getting good and go. You go to the gym. Maybe you want to put on a 10-minute sweat and warm up on the treadmill to get the blood flowing and get the body temperature up before you go lift 1,000 pounds. You
All of
know,
those things.
yeah,
All of those things. And
warm up.
so it's a warm up, but it's designed to actually get you a little bit shaken, right? More about like real rapid succession to get through the gates of your call framework. And so everybody coming online today is going to be bringing their own message, and we're going to workshop that together. And hopefully, we'll walk away today with real actionable tips today. You're going to understand how this framework works. Maybe you're going to steal some other actual call frameworks that are working for other people. And for our guests, they can leave here and put it right into action and go, hopefully, get just a little bit better, feel a little bit more confident. And this is all about confidence and consistency at the top of the funnel. So, without further ado, do we have our first guest ready? I am looking at the chat. Chat. Our volunteer, here we go. Pitar, are you here? Can you raise your hand? Pitar, we know Pitar.
It's hard. A family member,
Raise the hand.
a local.
Oh, was that
Hey,
Ray Lewis or
Yeah, I was gonna say
Pitar?
he put some meat on. He must have been doing deadlifts between the last session.
oh,
That's a little
yeah.
bit,
Good camera
little bit,
angle over here now.
a little bit more than practice there, man. Just going beast mode in the gym. I see. All right. So,
He got
Uh,
he got the he got the gear.
I do,
so,
yeah. I got the
so
best
for
headset
those
in the game.
So joining us today, Pitar, you want to introduce yourself to everybody? We want to set a little bit of context. Who's Pitar? What organization do you work for? And a little bit more about your avatar, your persona, if you will, right? Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And then let's get into some role practice today.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so my name's Pitar Baberovich. Name's a bit of a tongue twister, but it's like Peter with an AR. I'm kind of new to this whole SDR game. I've been doing it since February of this year. So I take every advantage I can to practice, to break it down, to build it back up. My avatar kind of speaks on my energy level. Ray Lewis used to always say, "You pay me for 6 days, I give you the seventh for free because you play football on a Sunday." So that's kind of like my mentality going into this is learn as much as you can because once I'm on a call, that's just me, and that's what I work towards. So I love criticism. I love breaking it down because it's always better just to build it back up stronger.
Amazing. And so
you came to the right place.
Oh, sorry, my company. Yeah, the reason
yeah, no,
I'm
that's
here.
fine. That's who you be. I like that. Who you be. That's great. So you're gonna be smart. So your company, what company are you working for today? Who do you serve as an organization? You know, who is your ideal customer? And then just a brief overview of how you serve them, just to set some context. Then let's pull up your message. And did we get
Yeah.
that ahead of time? Do we
No,
have
you
that?
didn't. I have it loaded
Okay.
up too. I'm gonna fire to your iPhone ready. Um, Shawn and Ryan, you should see that shortly. But yeah, so I work with CloudFix. We're a tool for AWS for cost optimization. Um, we're a pretty new tool. We use automation on both finding and fixing instances in people's AWS. Our ICP, our deal customer, we're still in the stages of identifying who they may be. So you'll see on my script, there's a couple different talking points. There's three main bodies that we go after. There's C-suite, there's IT, and there's FinOps. So my script kind of reflects the three different conversations that I may have. And then what we do is very simply, we just alleviate time. So that way the IT personnel isn't doing these like little strenuous tasks with AWS. You get to focus on building it back out. And for FinOps, we make them very happy because they save that money.
All right. So I got your script here. Thank you for giving us a little bit of context here. We're going to get right into the role practice. And remember that the objective here today is, and it looks like you have your sections broken out, is we're going to try to help you get through the key elements, right? Your intro, feeling confident, then moving into each section here. And we'll pause after a session, give a little bit of feedback, and we'll go again. And then we'll bring our next guest on stage. The reset, the magic words, if you will, is going to be, hi, this is Ryan, right? Every time I say that, you're going to restart your script, and we're going to help you get through there. I'm going to throw some curveballs at you. We'll warm you up and get you going here. I'll do the first one, and then Shawn can grill you the second time. I think last time a lot of people are getting a little bit tired of hearing, hi, this is Ryan. We probably said it about 1 billion times if you were to do the chat thing. So I'll do the first one. I'll do the second one. We'll get some feedback, and hopefully you get away with this with just a little bit of learning, okay? So
yeah,
let's do this. Hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, this is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you today.
What's up?
Awesome. So AWS has partnered with us. We're called CloudFix. We help clients like yourself fill in holes that AWS has created in their systems. Just to make this next part relevant to you, Ryan, are you part of the team that's involved with AWS over at
hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, this is Petar Baberovich.
Petar? But what?
Yeah.
Petar.
Petar.
Who is this?
Yeah, Petar, the name's a bit of a tongue twister. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
You got 20 seconds.
Awesome. Let's start the clock here, Ryan. So AWS has partnered with us, CloudFix, to help clients like yourself fill in holes that AWS has created in their systems.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think that's on me.
Sorry, am I just not in the right department, or is AWS something that you're not involved with?
Hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, this is Petar Baberovich.
What's up, man? Do I know? Do I know you?
I know you're not expecting this call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Yeah, you got half a minute. What's up, man?
Awesome.
So I got to run to a meeting.
Yeah, of course. AWS has partnered with us, Ryan. We're called CloudFix. We help clients like yourself fill in holes that AWS has created in their systems. Just to make this.
We don't have any holes, man. We don't have any holes.
Amazing. So you guys are the rare minority that have it all figured out.
I guess so. So what do you do, man?
Well, just want to make this relevant to you. Are you part of the team that's involved with AWS?
Hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan. This is Petar Baberovich.
What's up,
know
man?
You're not. Yeah, I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Is this a cold call?
It is, yeah.
How'd you get my number, dude?
Good question. I just put my butt in the seat and my CEO sends me numbers. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
yeah.
know. Hey, this is Ryan.
Hey, Ryan, this is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not expecting
Hey,
my
how's it
call.
going, man?
Hey, it's good. It's good. I love your energy. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time
Yeah,
I
man, it's a
reached
good
you.
day. It's Wednesday. I'm just feeling it. Just had my
Awesome.
coffee. It's great.
I love to hear that, Ryan. I usually don't get people this excited to hear me cold call them. Do you mind if
Oh,
I
I love
take?
cold calls. Yeah, what you got,
Perfect.
man? What you
Awesome.
got?
So,
Come at me.
yeah, let's get right to it. Ryan, AWS has partnered with us. We're called CloudFix. We help clients like yourself fill in holes that AWS has created
Hey,
in their
this is Ryan.
systems. Hey, Ryan, this is Petar Baberovich.
Hey, hey, hold on a second. Sorry, what was that?
Looks like I caught you at a very interesting time.
Yeah. Hey, quiet. Sorry, who is this?
All good, Ryan. This is
Be quiet.
Petar.
Someone's calling me. What's up, man?
Yeah, hi, Ryan. This is Petar Baberovich. I know
Hmm.
you're not expecting my call. It seems like I caught you at the worst possible time. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share
Yeah.
exactly why I called you.
Yeah, it's not a good time, man. But go ahead. Go be quick. Not a good time.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I'll
Come
be
on, guys.
quick.
Be
So,
quiet. What's up?
all right, Ryan. So AWS has partnered with us. This next part is quick. We're called CloudFix. We help clients like
All
yourself
right,
fill in
let's stop.
holes.
Guitar. Great job, man. It's super, super clear that you are in the zone, the structure, right? Every time we reset, you're going right back. We're throwing the balls at you, and you don't let that shake you. You've got your natural, your tonality, your pace. You don't change the speed. You don't get shaken. You have the natural tendency of listening and then pivoting over, even with the different curveballs. That was awesome. Um,
Awesome.
one of the things that I think is great about that approach is that you're going to be able to keep people in, um, and you're getting through consistently, right? You're consistently sticking to the core message. Now, I didn't let you get into the other section. I'll let Shawn let you go further so you don't have to get through the intro. It's clear you have that nailed, right? It's consistent, even with all the different updates. Shawn, what are you hearing today? Anything you want to address before we go into maybe getting deeper into the second piece here for the second round here for him?
No, I think we got into a nice rhythm there after we got through the first start, stop, resets. Then it started to flow, and I say great job on picking up on the energy and kind of giving that back a little bit to the caller. You know, instead of just sticking straight to the script, trying to get to the next part of your script, slowing down and talking to the prospect a little bit, and keeping them going. So no, it's good.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. Awesome.
one of the things that I would think about here too is um, still a little bit more of a pattern interrupt before you get into so AWS has a partner, so because you have these different personas, and when I was like, hey, it's not me, it's not relevant. Type, like, I don't know how often you're gonna run into that, but setting that context a little bit before getting into that, like, hey, so you get the permission bank opener, that's great. Then you go right into the pitch before you've confirmed target, and you had mentioned that you may not know if you're in the right place all the time. So actually setting that before getting into the pitch, just to make sure this is relevant, you are still title at company, right? Okay, perfectly. So we work with titles at company, and we're an AWS partner, who use AWS, we're an AWS partner. Something like that might just
Yeah.
break the pattern a little bit if you hit a wall in that section. It's a little bit early for me, at least the way I like to look at the framework, to throw in the pitch. It's not a bad thing necessarily. I'm not sure what your conversion rates are, or if you're running into that wall from time to time. But I threw that objection there where it's like, I don't think it's me. It's not relevant. As soon as you hit that trigger, does that happen often, or are you getting
Yeah.
past that section?
Well, yeah, it does kind of happen often because right now we're still kind of discovering our ideal customers. So yeah, hundreds of times in a week, I might get this is not me, and then I actually have that even scripted, a little lower down. The script that you have on the page, so like that's a script that I was using last week, and that one had in red where you see I actually asked for the meeting, based on the scripts that you guys have been using. I've noticed that kind of gets like a very it just has that line specifically hasn't worked for me. It's created more of a sell wall, than anything.
No, it's
So
not so much
yeah,
about it's not so much about the Townsend framework for the meeting. That's not necessary if you're not able to get through that, and it's causing more walls than opening gateways, if you will. But it's about setting context a little bit. Like you're calling, you ask for permission, and you're going right into your pitch versus trying to break it up a little bit. That's what everyone else does. And what they're doing is they're giving you an opportunity to talk, and they're waiting for a reason to give you the beast mode stiff arm, right?
yeah.
So, your tonality, your approach, your professionalism, your pace, all of that's so good that you're not going to run into any issues for the most part on your opener. I doubt people are just hanging up on you, right? Like it's smooth, it's confident, it's consistent. However, what you're doing is you're getting a permission and you're pitch slapping. And what you want to do is shake the prospect a little bit and break the pattern up just a little bit more. And so the Townsend framework's great for that because you go, hey, did I catch you at a bad time or whatever you want to say? Do you mind if I have half a minute? And then you go, hey, the only reason I was really reaching out was to set a meeting. How's your schedule look? You're not doing that to set the meeting. You're doing that to break the pattern. Now, in your world, you say, hey, look, I know before I get right into it, I just want to make sure this is relevant. You are still titled like company, maybe confirm target, so that you can then break into one of these that is a little bit more relevant, or have a question, right? A real quick question before I get into this. AWS, is that like your purview or something? Like set the context, right? Otherwise, you're going to start. You're pitching this. I'm an AWS partner. That's what we do, and I don't know how. Like a lot of times we have assumptions that are going to be off, and that's where I could see a proverbial stiff arm. That's not for me. No, thank you. Not that's a good. No. Right. So just thinking through it a little bit. You don't have to change that today, but it's something to think about. I'll let Shawn.
I can change that on the fly. So I have right now, do you mind to share exactly why I called you? And then I go, so AWS is partnered with us. I can just say we're an AWS. So AWS is partnered with us just to make this next part relevant, just to make this relevant to you. Are you part of the team that's involved?
Yeah,
with AWS?
That's great. Just to set the context, right? And then you had a little bit of a status, if you will. There's some status and context that's established by saying that, hey, we are an AWS partner, right? So you're going, hey, look, no one really cares about that unless they care about it.
Yeah.
Again, no one cares about your awards and stuff, but that's to set context. It's not like we're the Gartner quadrant leader. You're not saying that. You're basically trying to set context. Hey, we're an AWS partner, and just to set context, are you a part of the team that deals with that in that ecosystem at all? I just want to navigate, make sure I'm in the right place before I get into the pitch. So I think that would help reduce some of the potential stoppage or stiff arms that you might come across.
Okay.
So
okay,
why don't we try that
part?
Let's try that transition this time, and Shawn can take over so we don't have to keep hearing my name over and over again.
Yeah. Shawn, what company are you working for?
Excuse me?
No, this isn't part of the call. Just wanted
to
throw in
that wasn't
something
where I was. You caught me off guard. I didn't know what you were asking me.
Oh yeah, what company do you want to work for in this convo right here?
Oh, in our role play here?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care. Pick one. Pick who's the biggest elephant? Who's the company you want to slay?
I would. Well, we just booked a meeting with them, so I guess the second biggest would be.
I just booked a meeting with the biggest one. I got.
Well,
that
one. One of our whales. I don't know. Let's just.
How about I'm the chief
Disney.
Chief technology officer for Disney or Intel?
Yeah, Disney. Disney's a big one on our list right now.
Go woke, go broke. Here we go.
Exactly.
Go. Ring, ring.
Hey, Shawn. Hey, sorry, ring, ring. Hey, is this Shawn?
Yeah, this is Shawn.
Hey, Shawn. This is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm in the middle of a. What's up?
Yeah, of course. So I'll be quick. AWS has partnered with us. Shawn. AWS has partnered with us. We're called CloudFix. Just to make this next part relevant to you, are you part of the team that's involved with AWS over there at Disney?
What's a CloudFix?
Good question. I'm assuming you haven't heard that name brought up yet?
I don't know. I hear cloud. It gets bounced around. But what's up? What can I do for you?
Yeah, of course. So, if you're involved with AWS over there at Disney, you're probably aware that AWS has stopped automating some of its maintenance processes. So that's why they reached out to us. Just out of curiosity here, Shawn, AWS is sending you about 50 new advisories every week. Kind of what steps are you currently taking to manage them?
I'm not sure what you mean by advisory. I'm not sure if I'm seeing any of this stuff.
Um, okay,
Hi,
I
this is
have
Shawn.
you.
Hi, this is Shawn.
Hi, Shawn. This is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not.
Qatar.
Yeah, name's a bit of a tongue twister. I know you're not expecting this call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Yeah, it's about yeah. You got 30 seconds. Go.
Awesome. Yeah, of course. Thanks, Shawn. So AWS has partnered with us. We're called CloudFix. Just to make this relevant for you, are you part of the team that's involved with AWS over there at Disney?
Yeah, you got the right place. You're at the right place.
All right, perfect. Yeah, I had you listed as the solutions architect over there. So I'm guessing you still hold that title?
Yep. For now,
Perfect. So you're
anyway. For now.
Yeah, you've probably noticed that AWS has stopped automating some of its maintenance processes. So that's why they've partnered with us. Just out of curiosity, AWS is sending you about 50 new advisories every week. What steps are you currently taking to manage them?
Well, isn't this why I have AWS? Don't they take care of this for me?
They did. Yeah, they did. But they stopped automating some of these housekeeping tasks. Basically, now what they're doing is they're sending you these advisories, letting you know that updates are available for anything from performance to hygiene to
Yeah,
upkeep.
I don't know about any. All I know is that we're on a spending freeze. Things don't, we're not spending any money on anything.
Yeah, sounds like you're not spending any money on anything. But what about your AWS spend? Is that frozen or is that fluctuating?
Well, that's going to be a contract. I think that's paid for annually. I'm not too worried about that. I mean, putting anything on top of it just isn't going to be. We're just not going to do that. It's not going to happen. I don't think this. I'm not sure if this is a good use of anyone's time.
Oh, okay. You don't think it's a good use of our time? Well, let me just give you kind of the meat and potatoes and why we exist, and you
Hi,
tell me if
this is
it's worth.
Shawn.
Hi, Shawn. This is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Is this a sales call?
It's only a sales call if we're a fit. I'm just calling to see if it's worth some time on your calendar. Um,
I mean, how'd
and
you even get my number?
Well, good question. My CEO passed me down the numbers, and I make the calls. So just want to know, do you have half a minute? I'll share exactly why my CEO gave me your number.
Maybe you should have your CEO give me a call.
You're right. I can set that up for you, but I just want to make sure this is relevant to you. So I work with an AWS partner called CloudFix. Are you part of the team that's involved with AWS there over at Disney?
Yeah.
Awesome. So you probably noticed that AWS has stopped automating some of its maintenance processes. So that's why they partnered with us.
Yeah,
Out
I
of
think I think what you probably need to do is you need to go over to our website and sign up as a vendor because I can't talk to anybody. If you're not an authorized vendor, this we just don't work this way.
Okay, yeah, no, I totally understand. I mean, I did call you out of the blue. Nobody likes to be bum rushed. Um, but have you heard this name been brought up in your circles yet,
Hi,
CloudFix?
this is Shawn.
Hi, Shawn. This is Petar Baberovich. I know you're not expecting my call. It's the first time I reached you. Do you mind if I take half a minute? I'll share exactly why I called you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So AWS has partnered with us, CloudFix. Just to make this relevant to you, Shawn, are you part of the team that's involved with AWS over there at Disney?
Maybe.
Maybe. Awesome. I had you listed as a solutions architect over there at Disney. Do you still hold that title or have you
Yeah.
shifted? Perfect. So this might resonate with you. You've probably noticed that AWS has stopped automating some of its maintenance processes. So that's why they've partnered with us. Shawn, out of curiosity, AWS is still sending you 50 new advisories every week. What steps does your team take to manage them?
Well, hey, you know what? I don't really have time to deal with this right now, but I can tell you one thing: it's your lucky day. You kind of nailed it on the head. We just came out of a meeting, and there's been a lot of talk about this switch over at AWS, and we're actually exploring solutions like this. So great job for picking up the phone and reaching out. Your timing's impeccable. Let's go ahead and let's just get this scheduled, and then we can meet when we've got some more an open window to actually talk about this. I'd look forward to that. How do
Yeah,
we
of
set that
course,
up?
Shawn. Yeah, awesome. Well, timing couldn't have been better. And speaking of timing, do you have your calendar handy?
All right,
Yeah,
let's stop
yeah,
there, guys.
yeah, I'm good.
Let's stop there. We got to get some
Yeah.
other guests in. Pitar, great job. Again, I think on our side, at least from what I'm hearing, you've got everything nailed in terms of the tone, taste, pace, framework. You're not rattled, right? He's throwing some curveballs at you. He's being a little bit wonky on like asking some questions. You don't get shaken. You just keep going through. One thing to consider when you do a good job around you do a good job of mirroring a little bit, and then sometimes you're using the word but. Be careful with that word. So, hey, that sounds, I think you said something like that sounds, you have a spinning freeze or something, and then it's like but. It's a word that can trigger some stuff, right? So anytime we use but, it's almost like you actually didn't mean what you said before. So that transition statement can get you into a trap a few times. I heard it a few times in the you're like, I hear you, but, and then you're like back to like your agenda. If you recognize that pattern, it might help you open up. Maybe there's like another opportunity to ask a clarifying question before you get back into it. So other than that, man, this was really, really sound. Great work today.
Here's one more. I know we got to get going here, but here's one more thought about the Townsend framework. Is it in the original framework, the idea of when you ask somebody if they had heard of your company, that right after that, especially it may work at this level too, that you can use a referential statement right away to actually talk about who you've actually served and who you work with, some other names and things like that, just again to ice break the conversation so somebody feels like they're in a relevant peer group. We've worked other companies like XYZ and put a little credibility to it, have turned to us because AWS has went and destroyed everything that has to do with blah blah blah, and that's why I'm calling you. And that's what I would call making it. It's like the 3 R's framework, making it real, relevant, and then relatable, right? I mean, this has really happened. It's relevant, and you should be able to relate to this, and then build your script on top of that in that little section there to get credibility and get someone to go, I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
perfect.
I'm
I like
listening.
that. Yeah. I'm gonna add that in. And then Ryan, I'm gonna listen to this recording once it's live again and catch those butts. I never even
Yes, it came up 2 or 3 times. And when I hear it, it's that transition statement. So thank you so much for volunteering. You're an animal. Great work today. And
Thanks,
keep going on. Guys. So we're gonna add our next guest on. I think we have is it Leandro? Leandro,
do I
raise
leave
your hand?
Do I leave stage?
Yes, sir. We'll see you around.
Stage right.
Brother. Thank you for
Later,
exit
Pitar.
stage right. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Is that what they say? Yeah. Next, and we're gonna try to keep the process rolling here. If you raise your hand, Leandro, if you're around, we'll let you in next. I think there's a button to raise your hand.
Yeah, and just some more thoughts on the start stop reset process here. That a lot of this goes to things that people are looking to develop in their sales team, right? Which is a really great, strong, positive sales culture. And I know some of these things get kind of buzzwordy, but I always think of this kind of training or coaching as developing or fostering an environment of learning and optimization, as opposed to falling into the trap of inspection and reprimand, which goes back to that idea that role plays turn into gotcha situations, which, you know, whether you like it or not, can actually, you know, erode someone's, you know, confidence or so on if they feel like you're getting trapped in gotcha situations. And then, you know, it turns the sales process into a contest. And I don't think that it being a contest or sparring with a prospect at this layer where it's an introductory call and you're trying to introduce your brand or so on is the best approach. Objection handling and things like that, probably more appropriate down the road when it gets a little bit more feisty, negotiation, things like this, where you're in the mix trying to get something closed. But early on, you know, it's a let's do this together or not at all. Um, let's end up better off than where we started, you know. And again, it goes back to, are you, you know, fostering a positive culture for your sales team, you know, or are you just trying to grind everybody into the ground? I think you got to be careful, because, you know, the insidious effects of tearing down a salesperson, or it shows up on the phone in their voice, in their tone, in their confidence, or their, I don't want to pick up the phone, you know, screw you, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, well, so the intention of this is not, as you said, to throw you under the bus and get you in a position where you're practicing how to argue with prospects. The
Yeah.
goal is to warm you up for real live conversations. The scenarios that we throw out in this, I like to put out there because these are things that I hear all the time. You know, dogs barking in the background. Hey, shut up. What? Hey, what's up? And then being prepared to understand how to navigate that and then get right to the next one. A nice guy. Hey, what's up? How you doing? It's interruptive, right? That type of personality can be interruptive. Or, hey, you only got 20 seconds. Go. You know, not speeding up. All of those things are things that you will actually experience. You want to throw those out there to get warmed up to the intro. And then, of course, a part of this is getting deeper into the conversation and staying consistent. One thing that Pitar did was he was consistent every single time on his intro, which was very different than the last show, where all of our guests struggled with that consistency. They were changing up their intro. They were trying to do a different opener every single time. And that made that initial stage of this, you know, make him sound like a pro. There wasn't a lot of variance, and that's what we want to see. We want to get to that point of consistency and constant. It looks like our other volunteer here is not around. And so for today, I guess, if the second one is not available, does anyone want to volunteer from the live? I know this will be ad hoc, but if you want to raise your hand, if you're in the live right now, we can bring you on stage and run through the exercise. It will be clear that you don't have an actual, maybe your script prepared for us today, but we can actually take a look at how you're approaching your call and give some live feedback. Alternatively, Shawn and I can certainly role practice a couple of the scenarios that we've had going, because I have no problem jumping into a few of the scripts that we're working on our side. But our second volunteer doesn't look like they made it today. So if anyone wants to stand out in the crowd, raise your hand, and we'll bring you on stage here. Here we go.
So you need to drop in the recorded clip from the Gladiator. Are you not entertained?
Oh, here we go. We've got
a taker?
Wait, I think maybe. Do we have someone? I don't know. I don't know how to run this thing. James is running on the back end. We had a volunteer. Oh, it disappeared. We had one. They're gone. Raise that hand if you're in. Otherwise, Shawn, we can definitely jump in and do an exercise right now where we can, again, try to, incoming. Here we go. Russ Heath. We've got Russ Heath coming in.
Yeah, and while they're coming in,
I think. I don't know. James is pulling this person in. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, well, they're coming in. Some of the things I don't think that we can ever coach on enough, or actually just try to remind reps that, you know, your opening. I think you said it earlier that a lot of these things are pattern interrupts, but, you know, when someone says pattern interrupt, you still go, well, okay, I get that. It's a buzzword. What does it really mean? And it really means that in the beginning of the conversation, you're trying to, you know, create the space to actually have a genuine two-way conversation. Because if you haven't created that, then there isn't really any really good reason to go on. Your mindset should be, well, you know, I'm looking to talk to someone who's available to have a two-way conversation with me right now, and if the timing's not right with this person, I'll move on. And so how do we do that? I think you hammer home, Ryan, like no tomorrow. Trust the script, especially in the opening. But I don't think we could ever, coach on or remind people enough that, your tone and pace and the emotion of your voice to actually create that space. Basically, the difference between, hey, this is Shawn calling from 5 by Noon, and hey, Ryan, you weren't expecting my call at all today. In fact, this is the first time I tried to reach you. Do you mind if I take half a minute and I'll share with you what I'm up to
Oh,
today?
something's going on with
As opposed to boy, he really wants to join. That was good.
Russ just joined about a million times.
As opposed to just reading the
Oh,
script. The way that I did it there was I spoke the script, and I believe in it, as opposed to, hi, this is Shawn from 5 by Noon. You're not expecting my call. It's the first time I tried to reach you. Do you mind if I take half a minute and I'll share with you why I called? And people could smell that from a mile away. Like, actually, you do your script enough, and if you're in a situation where your sales leaders put you into 10 or 12 conversations per hour, from time to time, it never fails, somebody will say, is this a robot? You sound like a robot. Are you a robot? I know it's
yeah.
happened to me, and it's because you settle into it so much, and you're like, no, I'm not a robot, man. How can I prove to you I'm not a robot? I don't think so. Click. This is a robot.
And this is why it's super important that it's about consistency and confidence, and finding your approach for that opener. I don't care what your opener is, in my opinion. It's it's about being consistent and confident with the delivery. So it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here. So Shawn, let's pivot. Let's do a role practice on our side. I want to get your feedback. You can throw me under the bus. I haven't done it last time. I was the prospect. You were the caller. So why don't we do some role practice on our side, and we can figure out what this looks like as we look to see if we can get the hand raiser in, because we got a couple volunteers trying to join, but the technical issue is having an issue. So James gets that going. You go ahead and be the prospect. Ring, ring. I'm gonna call
Shawn.
on behalf of. Hey,
Shawn
Shawn.
here.
This is hey, Shawn. This is Ryan Reisert with Cognism. You actually weren't expecting my call. This is the first time I've reached you. Do you mind if I take a half a minute to share exactly why I called? You let me know if this is relevant.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Fantastic. Shawn, again, my name is Ryan. I'm calling with Cognism. Honestly, the only reason I was calling today was to see if it would make sense to schedule an introductory conversation with my company when we're not calling you out of the blue here on a Wednesday morning. How's your schedule look? Maybe Friday, or if that's too pressing, early next week, Monday or Tuesday afternoon.
Well, you haven't even told me what it's about. What's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me make sure this is going to be relevant for you, Shawn. Cognism. Have you heard of our company at all? Does that name ring a bell? Maybe you've.
No, it sounds interesting. I wish I could say I did, but I don't care. What's up?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, let me just make sure this is relevant. Cognism. We're a premium data vendor. It looks like you lead sales over there at 5 by Noon. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So you know how today when sales reps are prospecting, they really complain that they can't find the right contact information, and even when they do, they're just not getting responses. They have to make a bunch of calls, no one picks up. They send emails, no one's responding. So they spend a ton of time on LinkedIn because they think that's where things are going to produce results. Yet, I don't know on your side if that's ringing a bell. Does that sound about familiar?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we've got a lot of data in our database, and teams that do this stuff for us. So yeah, I mean, we got contact data. I don't know what to tell you.
Amazing. Well, that's exactly what I was calling here, Shawn. A lot of teams that we work with, they already have premium data, but they found that, especially with all the job changes and things like that, that people are leaving. Data's out of date, right? Find a lot of people that have left company and no longer with them. They might get them on the phone, and it's their personal cell phone, and they're no longer with the company. So what we do here at Cognism is we've created a different approach for data quality, and we do something really unique in the market called diamond verification. So imagine an opportunity where, as your reps are working through the data that you have, whether it's researching off of
Sounds
LinkedIn
expensive.
or sounds expensive.
Yeah, that's what my wife is always saying, "Hey, let's go shop for diamonds," and all I know is it's going to cost me money.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. We're getting a little bit early to talk about marriage, but I know I asked for about 30 seconds here. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it, but would it be worth taking, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes in the next week or two where you could sit down and learn a little bit more about the types of data your teams are getting today and show you a little bit more
Hi,
about
this is
this
Shawn.
process we have. Hey, Shawn, this is Ryan Reisert with Cognism.
Ryan Reisert. Where have I
Yeah,
heard that
Ryan.
name? I've heard it somewhere. I don't know where, but it wasn't good.
Oh, my reputation precedes me. You weren't
What's
expecting my.
I'm
You
just
weren't
driving you,
expecting my.
Ryman. What's up, man? What are we doing? What's up?
Yeah, you weren't expecting my call. This is the first time I've reached you. Unfortunately, it sounds like my name might be out there. But did you have a half a minute? I can share exactly why I called you. Let me know if this is relevant.
Yeah, you're getting into be a half a minute already. What's up?
Oh, perfect. So honestly, Shawn, the only reason I was calling is to see if we could set some time up where I can introduce myself and my company, where I'm not calling you out of the blue here on a Wednesday morning. Do you have some time, maybe Friday or maybe early next week, if that's a little too pressing for you? How's that afternoon look for you?
Well, I usually don't even take cold calls, so but I keep my eye open for something interesting. Why would I bother? What's up? Why can't you just send me some info? Let's start there.
Oh yeah, just to make sure this is relevant, I'm happy to do that. Send some information. Just make sure this is relevant. You are still the owner over at 5 by Noon. Do you run the sales over there? Or is it someone else?
Yeah, no, I keep it. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So most of the teams that we're working with today, they're buying premium data. They've got LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and they got everything enabled for themselves, but they're still complaining that they can't get enough contact information. They're doing a lot of activities. They're not having enough conversations. Don't respond to our email. Does that ring a bell at all for you? Have you heard that complaint from your team?
Yeah, there's an endless reason why salespeople can't do their job, bitching, complaining all the time.
Yeah,
Excuses.
yeah. Well, excuses.
Yeah, they just I can't. If I had this tool, if I had better data, if I didn't have to work and I got orders, that'd be better.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, some of those are relevant, some of those are not. But with us over at Cognism, we've created a different approach that helps sales teams who maybe already have premium data, ensure that when they're prospecting, they're able to get the right information at the right time and spend their efforts in the right channel so they can actually spend time having sales conversations and not playing with tools and clicking buttons, etc. So I know I caught you out of the blue here, Shawn, but would it be a terrible idea if we found, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes for a brief introductory call, maybe Friday afternoon, or if that's again too pressing, maybe Monday or Tuesday next week?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I really don't know what this is about or whatever. I gotta go. Hi, this is Shawn.
Hey, this is Ryan Reisert with Cognism. Shawn, you weren't expecting my call. This is the first time I've reached you. Do you mind if I take a half a minute and share exactly why I called? You let me know if this
You
is
got
relevant.
about 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
9,
Sounds like
8.
I caught you at the worst possible time, Shawn. Is there a better time where I might be able to reach you when might be a little bit more convenient?
No, I'm probably just messing with you. I don't take cold calls. Quick. Hi, this is Shawn.
Hey, Shawn, this is Ryan Reisert with Cognism. You
Hey,
weren't
Ryan.
expecting my call? Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. Let's stop.
Perfect.
Let's stop here and talk for a second. I'm wondering if there's some compelling questions in there because that we even though we're role playing, it carries on with Cognism and in data and things. And I'm wondering if there's a let me get into a script workshop here, but a compelling question in there like do you have something? I'm calling from a Cognism in a what is it you're doing data. It's almost like I want to be I need to be drawn into the conversation more, like I'm reaching out to
Yeah.
sales leaders who are already using a some kind of data platform already to help their reps get good data, like contact names, emails. What do you guys have in place now? And again,
Yeah.
from framework and fundamental, that's not so much, hey, what are you using, whatever. You'll elicit that response, but it's still a baton pass. The whole time I felt like I was waiting for you to, get to something that I would actually care about. And being a sales leader, I think on the data side, what I'm thinking is, well, if I was gonna tell you, actually, yeah, we've got a Zoom account, so we're all set. Perfect. I was hoping you would say that.
Right.
Um,
Yep.
and then the follow up question is something like, so, for the quality of data, what kind of process do you have in place to measure that? Do you measure it before it goes into your CRM or downstream after your reps start using it?
Yeah.
Something like that. So someone goes, hold on.
What are you
What does
talking
that
about?
even mean?
Yeah, what are you talking
Something
about?
like that. Something in there, because I think that's where the benefit of the diamond record is, right? That hey, because what happens with bad data when it comes into the system, right? It screws up everything downstream, but right now everybody ignores that. Nobody's saying that, right? I mean, no one's admitting that I put 10,000 contact records in my database, turned my team loose on it, and we're accepting the fact that the dashboards are all off by 30%. We actually think the dashboards are accurate. We use that as a source of truth, even though we're ignoring the data sucks.
Correct. No, I
Something
think
like
you're
that.
spot on. It's the same issue of the Pitar's script here. I'm just making this up on the top of my head, by the way. I don't have anything in front of me, and I'm
Yeah, no.
I was
I get, yeah, right. No, I get it.
but it's spot on. It's the same feedback I would have gave someone else, where you want to try to set context and potentially a thought provoking or like you said, it's a baton pass, but also trying to ensure that you're right in the right area to set the stage up. And in this case, again, I was making some of that stuff up on the fly. I was not prepared for me doing this
Yeah, no,
today.
I
But
get that. I think
I would like to practice that, because right now that I think is a compelling statement that the Cognism team can benefit from. I'm going to be doing a workshop with them in July anyway, so we could role play this a little bit, not role play, but
yeah.
workshop this a little bit with the last 12 minutes. And if there's any questions, we're having technical issues here, so if there's
Yeah,
questions you
and
guys
I
want us
think
to cover,
I think that fundamentally that tactic in the communication world is anchoring, right? Where you're trying to bring up, like an elephant in the room, or anchor something, and then you can build from it. Kind of take someone's bias about something, or relevant bias about something, and grow on it. And I think that helps people gently move into the problem, as opposed to just slapping somebody across the face with "you're stupid if you don't get it."
Yeah.
There's something to be said about in sales, when somebody, you're talking to a prospect, or your future next best customer, when they realize the benefit of what you're doing on their own. Basically, if you're smart enough to be able to seed them with what they need to know to have a eureka moment and go, oh, hey, I get it. I understand what you're trying to do. If it's their idea, it's a lot more powerful than it was your idea, fundamentally. And that's
sounds
just
like
another.
sounds like you've been reading Anthony's new book.
Mm-mm.
Uh,
I haven't read that. I mean, some of these things are just universal truths. I would say that this
yeah,
is standing on the shoulders of giants. There's
yeah.
all the people that came before me, all the people that came before you. There's hardly anything new under the sun. I think it's experience. You end up peeling these layers back, and saying, shoot, that was wrong. That was stupid. And you thought it was super smart yesterday, right? You thought you were a genius.
So we got a couple questions here that we can answer in the last 2 minutes of the show. Emily has a question that says, or Emil rather, how do you respond to an objection of "we are happy with your competitor"? So that's the question. I'll go first, Shawn, if you want, and then or I'll go first and I'll let you respond as well. But that's actually great. Shawn had mentioned it a little bit earlier when he said, "Hey, we got Zoom info. We're good. There's a perfect opportunity there." It's like, that's fantastic. That's exactly why I was calling.
Yep.
Right.
That was gonna be my knee-jerk instant response from doing this forever. Is perfect. That was exactly why I called. Most of
And
the
then you
people
just
I'm talking,
shut
yeah,
up.
Yeah, most of the time I talk to people, they've got a solution in place, they're happy with it, they've been using it for a long time. But the majority of people I talk to keep their eyes and ears open for new ideas, innovations. They want to make sure that they have the very best technology or process in place. And so we put together this brief meeting for that purpose. And that's it. Even if you decide to stay with your current vendor, we'll be happy to give you a proposal. Maybe you take it to them, keep them honest, whatever you want to do. Take what you learned from the meeting and apply it immediately. That'll work for us. The goal of my call today was to find some time just to introduce myself and my company. How's next Thursday at 3 o'clock? Or if that's too pressing, are we out after the 4th of July? Would that make more sense?
Fantastic. The next question we had that's come in here is, where in the script, how soon in your conversation would you insert the compelling question? After you introduce yourself? So Lathan, it's a great question. It's going to depend on how your conversation is flowing, but and what framework you're running. When we run the Townsend framework, I personally like to set that after we've been provided the feedback of, hold on a second, what do you do? So in that framework, you introduce yourself, you have a permission-based opener, you ask for the meeting up front. The intention there is to break the pattern and get the what do you do, and you go, hey, that's no, let me just make sure this is going to be relevant. You can ask that question there before you get into your pitch. If you're running another script similar to like what Pitar did this morning, you can do that right before or right after the permission-based opener, right? Compelling question. Before you get into the pitch is generally where you want to insert that question, not after the pitch. That's at least been my experience. When you run a call, even if you've gotten through your amazing permission-based opener or any opener, what the rep is doing is they're in fight or flight mode. They're trying to see, is this a threat or not? And honestly, it's a cold call. They want to stiff arm you. And so to break to shake the prospect out of the fight or flight mindset and actually get them to listen to you, right? They're not hearing you yet. To have them hear you, you want to try to insert that certainly after you've gotten past the intro. They're not asking all of those interruptive, like, I'm sorry, what is this? Who is this? What's this about? How do you know me? Once you've gotten past that and they've given you an opportunity to talk, step back, and before you pitch, that's when you want to insert that compelling question or set what I was calling relevant context, but the reality is Woodward calls this relevant clarity. Just trying to help them understand, okay, I know this is a conversation about this, and now you can get into your meats and potatoes of your value pitch if that's where you're taking that conversation. Shawn, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's correct. In our opening, where we're trying to establish the two-way conversation, there's 3 steps there. You're not expecting my call. I wanted to get time on your calendar. Have you heard of my company? Those 3 things to establish, am I having a two-way conversation, and also to assess for the personality, because there's a great opportunity to change your tone, your pace, or so on, to adapt it to the style of the person that you're talking to. I think fundamentally, that you have to really believe in what you're doing with your script. In other words, if you go back to the target and message formula, right, that you have to believe, like it's and I know this is a little dramatic, but a moral imperative that the reason for your call is that important to the prospect. And so when people say nail a niche, that's what you're talking about. If your target's lined up so tightly with your message, your compelling question should make perfect sense, and then you should be ready for any one of the outcomes that you get from that. So when you tighten it up there, but that's where it belongs. You really want to ask that compelling question, and we could go deep here. It's okay for that compelling question to be a little bit nebulous too, so you're saying something where you're saying, why you're doing it, or maybe, the economic, strategic, or emotional value of it, without saying how you do it, because a great response would be, hold on, tell me more. I heard what you said, but I tell me more. And again, that goes back to the baton pass, and then you can open up the space a little bit. And I'll give you an example of that. Let's see if we can give you an example of that. Something like we we've created a process that allows reps to have 10 to 12 conversations per hour without changing anything that they do at all. The reason for my call today was get some time on your calendar so I can share with you how that works. And somebody might say, well, hold on, 10 to 12, or you could come back with a question. How many conversations per hour are your reps having, or do you kind of measure it by the day? And to get someone to go, well, hold on, okay, let me answer that question. It's just, so, okay. But before I put a meeting, tell me more about that. Well, the process that we created helps reps like me effortlessly have 10 to 12 conversations per hour without changing my process, whatever. It's basically, it's not a dialer, it's not a technology, it's something that's brand new that every sales leader needs to know about, to help get more deals in the pipeline. Just wanted to get some time on your calendar to share it with you.
This portion of the conversation is really the art of understanding your persona, your actual who you be, right? Your like how you present yourself so that you're confident delivering it, and ultimately your organization, like what do you actually offer? So getting all of those things lined up, and being able to actually get the illicit response you're seeking. And the illicit response you're seeking at this stage is, like Shawn mentioned, you're trying to get them to say, hey, yeah, that's interesting, kind of tell me more, or really get some sort of level of buy-in, or maybe even it is a bit of a qualifier so that you can continue before you get into the compelling pitch, if you will, value pitch, value proposition, or the actual true meaning of the call. And there's so much variance there, of course, because we're talking about a framework for cold calling, but cold calling can be used in a lot of different ways. And so depending on the outcome you're seeking, are you trying to build awareness? Are you there to truly gather information? And you using it for syndication to get them to drive traffic to webinars or podcasts or events? Or is this an appointment setting opportunity? Or is it a transactional sale? There's all sorts of different variances there, but the idea is you want to get to that illicit response of, hey, that is me. This is relevant. What's next? So
yeah, try stuff. I know we got to go here, but try stuff, test stuff. Don't be afraid. It's the cold calls never go perfect because you don't know who's on the other line. So try stuff and figure out something that works. The best one we did was the data one, right? You have a tool in place that tells you which companies are hiring people that you've already got candidates for. Remember that? That was brilliant, right? People are like, yeah, we do. Yeah. What is it? Zoom info? No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you gotta massage that a little bit, get a sense of like where you're actually getting those responses that get you into a trap. You now seed your question around that, right? That there's art there. You got to massage, you got to run it, you got to have conversations. So thank you all for joining in today. Sorry for the technical issues. We're running right up against the edge here. Hopefully when we come back around next time, we will have that lined up and knocked out and our volunteer process a little bit more clear. So we'll come back. Thanks for your patience with the process. This is a new framework, second show around.